The connection between Margaret Sanger and Adventism revealed. Adventist pioneers had a high regard for God's law and the sacredness of holy time and human life. How could then Adventists embrace the violation of the right to life back in 1970? A study of the life of Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, may help us delve into this mystery. The Negro Project, Margaret Sanger's eugenic plan for Black Americans. Many Americans black and white are unaware of Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger's Negro Project. Sanger created this program in 1939 after the organization changed its name from the American Birth Control League, ABCL, to the Birth Control Federation of America, BCFA. The aim of the program was to restrict, many believe exterminate the black population, under the pretense of better health and family planning. Some within the black elite saw birth control as a means to attain economic empowerment, elevate the race, and garner the respect of whites. Eugenicists hoped to purify the bloodlines and improve the race by encouraging the fit to reproduce and the unfit to restrict their reproduction. They sought to contain the inferior races through segregation, sterilization, birth control, and abortion. This view of abortion as one way of controlling the growing world population was shared by a former president of the Adventist General Conference named Neil Wilson, father of the current GC president, Ted Wilson. Pastor Neil Wilson lived at a time when the fear of the uncontrolled world population growth exceeded that of the fear of an atomic war. This is why Wilson made the following public declaration back in 1970. Though we walk the fence, Adventists lean toward abortion rather than against it. Because we realize we are confronted by big problems of hunger and overpopulation, we do not oppose family planning and appropriate endeavors to control population. George Gaynor, The Wisdom of Solomon. Spectrum 19/4, May 1989 38-46. Adventists shared the fear of a population explosion with the rest of the world, and this fear led Adventists to embrace elective abortion as a viable solution to this problem. We did not overtly abandon God's 10 Commandments, but merely carved an exception to God's law. It took several centuries for the Catholic Church to alter the 4th commandment of the Decalogue. We Adventists managed to alter the 6th commandment in a single generation. We replaced our abortion guidelines with a new document on abortion, but preserved the right to deprive of life those unborn babies with fatal prospects and birth anomalies and labeled them as incompatible with life. Sanger embraced Malthusian eugenics. Thomas Robert Malthus, a 19th-century cleric and professor of political economy, believed a population time bomb threatened the existence of the human race. According to writer George Grant, Malthus condemned charities and other forms of benevolence, because he believed they only exacerbated the problems. His answer was to restrict the population growth of certain groups of people. Malthus' disciples believed if Western civilization were to survive, the physically unfit, the materially poor, the spiritually diseased, the racially inferior, and the mentally incompetent had to be suppressed and isolated or even, perhaps, eliminated. Sanger built the work of the ABCL, and, ultimately, Planned Parenthood, on the ideas and resources of the eugenics movement. Grant reported that virtually all of the organization's board members were eugenicists. Some viewed birth control as a viable solution. High reproduction, they believed, meant prolonged poverty and degradation. Desperate for change, others began to accept the rationale of birth control. A few embraced eugenics. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. 39. Yes, you read it right. Margaret Sanger's secret plan was to eliminate as much as possible the growing black population. Those were the words of Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood. This is as close to infanticide as you can get. This is where the connection between Adventism and the work of Margaret Sanger is more visibly patent. Probably encouraged by Neil Wilson's public declaration of support of abortion, a young graduate from Loma Linda University named Edward Allred decided to profit from the killing of unwanted unborn children. he embraced the killing of unwanted Black and Hispanic unborn babies with missionary zeal. Did the Adventist Church ever reprimand or condemn the work of this serial killer of unborn children? On the contrary, the Church honored him at the 1992 General Conference session. Both LSU and LLU honored him as an ambassador philanthropist. It is impossible to sever Planned Parenthood's past from its present. Its legacy of lies and propaganda continues to infiltrate the Black community. The poison is even more venomous because, in addition to birth control, Planned Parenthood touts abortion as a solution to the economic and social problems that plague the community. This is why Black leaders are desperately trying to remove the bust of Margaret Sanger from public display. Her racist roots are no longer possible to ignore. Likewise, it is impossible to divorce Adventism from the abortion business. The evidence is too great to ignore. 5 decades of history cannot be swept under the rug without notice. Black pastors ask Smithsonian to remove bust of Planned Parenthood founder. Reference: Black pastors ask Smithsonian to remove bust of Planned Parenthood founder. CNS News. Perhaps the gallery is unaware that Ms. Sanger supported Black eugenics, a racist attitude toward Black and other minority babies, an elitist attitude toward those she regarded as the feeble-minded, speaking at a rally of Ku Klux Klan women, and communications with Hitler sympathizers. The letter from ministers taking a stand states: Hitler's policy regarding the feeble-minded and unproductive members of society is well known by most people. Hitler was inspired by the American eugenic movement. Planned Parenthood was initially opposed to the removal of Margaret Sanger's bust, but finally caved in to the mounting pressure, especially the criticism of Black leaders. The group says that Sanger should not be part of an exhibit that features the real champions of the civil rights movement, including Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks. How can a person like Sanger, who found common cause with the racial agenda of the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, be ranked among true champions of justice? The letter states that it is the first in a series of actions we will be taking to expose the evil of honoring Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood. The letter also states that 70% of Planned Parenthood abortion clinics are in minority neighborhoods and provides a link to a map documenting this fact. We do not want word to get out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out the idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. Margaret Sanger's long-held secret is out now. Our Adventist history is inscribed with the blood of innocent unborn children. Corporate guilt requires corporate repudiation of past sinful behavior and the public embrace of pro-life doctrinal purity. The abortion exclusion contained in Section 6 of our new document on abortion must be eliminated. Save this video. Please, share this video with your friends. And watch the videos listed below. And post your comments below.